Good morning. Good to see some young people here. Good to see some people wearing the proper suit today. And some people didn't get the memo, right? But anyway, I'm glad. Today is a special, special day. I come from a very traditional church, so this is not normal for me too. But today is because of our mission conference. And then it so happened to be centered on the theme of Hebrews 12. And Hebrews 12 for me is just perfect to tackle this subject because it talks a lot about athletic experience, sports, race. You see that in our context. We'll read a little bit. Endurance and all that. So you can see our display here. We have all sorts of different sports, all right? So we are designing something special for today. But we are trying to focus on the last Friday is on this book. Why is it so significant, this book is offering us? And last Friday we shared, and then we saw in Hebrews 1, I think the overall that Jesus is the center of this book, And why? Why do we are focusing on Jesus as the center of this book? It's because it says he's the Son of God. Okay, that is a very strong point that we need to realize who Jesus is, And then we also say he is the heir, to the throne, And he's sitting on the right side of the king with God, What a powerful, we Asians, we understand that, being an heir, sitting on the right side of the king meant a lot for us. And then we also see in Hebrews 1 that he is the creator of you and me, this universe. Everything here is his domain. He is the power, the creator, the foundation of us, And therefore, this is why we need to really say Hebrews is a book all about Jesus. Yeah. And we also look into that why, as a believer, we need to really say, yeah, I am believing in the God, the Son of God, Jesus Christ. Why am I accepting? Why am I believing? Why am I needed to share that to everybody? See, so it gives you a good point of, if there is any argument, is there any discussion, just lead to Jesus Christ. Because he is worth telling people who he is, the power that he has, what he stands for you. So today, why are we here meeting today is because of him. Okay? So we need to understand that. And so as Christian, we all meet some challenges, like in sports. That's why I like this topic here, Hebrews, because I come from a sports background. And I understand about challenges. I understand about struggles. I understand about how to win the race. And I understand what means to fail. Okay. Then what is the success of this race? We're going to talk about it in a minute here. But I want to focus on you. How are you doing in this race? Okay, how do I do it? I forgot our clicker. So, how are you doing in the race as a believer? Just think about it. Give yourself about 10 seconds. How am I doing this race? Am I still struggling? Were there a time that you wanted to give up? Is your faith strong enough? Do you feel like, I got to withdraw? It's too much. Am I being challenged at school, in my office, in my community, in my family too? Not all of us have all the mom and dad are Christians or brothers and sisters or cousins. Sometimes we felt that why am I believing Jesus? Why do I stand for it? How are you doing that? I, as a missionary, I'm still in that race. Been in Taiwan for so many years, 28 years, almost 30 now. And my struggle is trying to get the churches to rise up. Taiwan is such a unique place. All the places I live in, and Taiwan is the one I really love it. Enjoy working with people, young people, church leaders, pastors. I've been around with churches, leaders all the time, and with young people. And I coach basketball, and so there were some frustrating moments that I say, why are they not interested in following Christ? Why are they still down below here? We want to make them to rise up to a level of really understanding God. There are still, when you say Taiwan, yeah, are they religious? Do they believe in God? Yeah, they do. There are lots of gods in there, But what is the one true God that they can zero in? Unfortunately, Christ is not there. So there is still a long ways to go. But there are, young people now are coming to Christ. That's why we do a lot of sports ministry. Of all the activity in Taiwan, all the churches will say sports is the way to really reach the young people. That's their language. You want to communicate the gospel, you use sports. But unfortunately, you say, okay, if the whole churches of Taiwan can use sports, but they're not doing it. So there are lots of reasons why they can't do it. And there's also a lot of needs. Because sometimes when I'm with them, we could cry together. They wanted to do it. But being a pastor and leading the community, the church, it takes a lot of time and a lot of frustration too. And so we have many, many sessions of crying and to say, yeah, how are we going to do that? How are we going to help you? We need short-term teams. We need a lot of missionaries to help the Taiwan churches, because in the Taiwan churches, the congregation we're not there. It's so hard to explain that, but you would think that a church should be able to motivate the church leaders, the church congregation to go out and share the gospel. But it's different. Taiwan, when you talk about how do you reach the missions, it's always relying on the pastor. One person for the whole church, right? Or maybe the wife is also part of it, and maybe one secretary. That's all. But that is not going to, there's only if there's 2 people, 3 people in the church doing the ministry, it's not going to take, it's going to take a long time to reach the whole city or the whole community. It's very difficult. So I'm passionate about helping pastors. So we started using sports quite a bit. And we have a lot of fruits coming out the last 5 years. We have been doing that. And then we're developing a new city strategy, and we're targeting cities so that we can develop teams in the city. Okay? So how are you doing with the race? We're all part of it. We are running this race, no matter what. It may be positive, it may be negative, it may be high, it may be low. But when we say this book of Hebrews is saying rely on Christ, because he owns this world. He has that power. He's the Son of God. We need to focus on him. So let's go and move on. You see this picture, and I picked this picture particularly is showing how Sometimes it's like us. We are here. This is particular Jesus on the night that he was betrayed and being captured. He was down in the garden praying so hard, that if Jesus at this evening would say, God, I can't take it anymore. Get me out of here. What would happen to us today? He could have done that, But in that moment, that evening when he prayed, it was so deep, His prayer, his tears flowing down. Is trying to carry the sin of the world. That's what his burden is, his heavy burden. So you can see that picture here. Man, there are times I'm like that. Because I want to help Taiwan churches. I want to help Taiwan young people to really know who Jesus Christ. So there are times I'm down like that. I hope you can do that. Because it's the way it portrays here, I think calling God to do it, relying on God. Okay? So that is the race. Christ did that. We're going to talk more about this race here. I want to test something. How are you in shape? Are you in shape? Okay. So this is a sports theme, right? This morning is we're featuring on our sport and athletics. So we will need to get in shape, right? Okay? So I'm going to ask Elaine to come up here to give us the instruction. He's our torture. What we're going to do, Elaine's going to explain to us the different station. We're going to do a circuit here. We're going to turn this church into a CrossFit center. Is that all right? Is that okay with everybody? Okay. So then, as a warm-up, right? Should I explain that or you want to explain that? As a warm-up, I want this two section here, one over here. I want whoever is closest there, fold the chair. That means you got to move and rest on the wall, okay? So we're going to create some space. You got it? And you can help also. So we want to clear this. So that will be your warm-up, okay? All right? So I'll give you 10 seconds to finish it. Can you do it? Yeah. And then do we have a microphone for Elaine to make this, how to give an instruction here? Oh, right here in front.
Hello. Hello. Oh, all right. Thank you, everyone. Wow, that was quick. The dance didn't get you going already. This worm is going to really get the blood flowing. So as Coach Alex had said, we are going to have 4 stations. So we have endurance over here, and I'll be over here. We'll have 4 different coaches telling you what exactly to do, but I think I'm going to explain it very quickly, how to do each exercise. So we have 4 stations, and we're going to have 3 exercises per station. And like Coach Alex said, each exercise is going to be about 30 seconds each, and you're going to partner up with somebody at your station. Great idea. Everybody stretch a little bit. If you can, limber up. And just know, whatever you're physically capable of doing, no obligation. You don't want to get hurt. We are not liable for anything. So we're not liable for anything. But God will give you the strength. So please just do whatever you're physically capable of doing. If for some reason you don't feel like you're capable of doing it, please encourage those that are doing it to continue to go. So
we have divide into groups,
yes,
right?
Yes. So we have endurance over here. We have strengthening over there. We have cardio in the back corner over there, and we have footwork over here. So if we can if whichever station you want to start off at and divvy up, please go to the respective station, and then we will explain.
We need about 10 to 12 people in one station. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, right in the middle here. Okay, While you're mingle around, find a partner, okay? Find a partner, okay? Okay? So I'm going to tell you why you need a partner, okay? So the partner's job is to count how many times you can do push-ups or sit-ups. And
Whatever you're capable of doing.
yes. And your partner is your cheerleader, okay? So you know what the cheerleader is? Meaning say, you can do it, okay? That's the word you want to use, okay? You can do it. You can finish it, okay? So that's the role of the partner, okay? We must be inclusive, okay? So what does it take to win the race, right? So when we are working out here, what does it take to be able to finish the workout? What does it take for you? You know, you've been to different stations, right? What does it take to really finish it? Huh? Practice. All right, good. Now more reps, right? What else? Consistency. Yes. That's right. Stamina. You got to have stamina to keep it up, right? What else? Yes. I love those guys who are doing some footstep here. Wow, they're as fast as lightning, right? Okay. What? Rest days. Resting? Yeah, you need to rest. Yeah, our physical body needs some rest. Yeah, sleep, rest, good food, right? Balanced diet, okay? And train and pain. No pain, no gain, right? Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah. So in the spiritual, we're going back to our main theme, Hebrews. Spiritually, we need to really keep up the stamina by following Christ, right? That is the key thing. For some reason, my thing went crazy. All right, Hebrews 12. If you have your Bible or your electronic Bible like what I have, is to turn to the book of Hebrews 12. As we want to focus on our key verse for this mission week or month. And we look at Hebrews 12, 1 to 2. And as you read, it's going to read like this. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witness, let us also lay aside every weight, okay? Looks like some of us need some weight decrease, right? And sin, which clings so closely. And some of us want to do it, some of us don't want to do it, right? There is the attitude problem. And let us run with endurance. So in all that challenges of life, here it is. We have to run with endurance. The race that is set before us. Okay, looking at who? The author and perfecter of faith. Looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and it takes a lot of guts to be on the cross, to stand and be ashamed and spit at, beat up, and nailing on the cross. That is unbeatable. I don't think anybody can tap that. All right? So, and then because of that, he endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. And this is what God exalted him as Son of God, as sitting on the throne, because of that. Because he obeyed and he finished that race. And he lived 3 days after. So how do we win the race? Okay? This is the key verse. Okay? Now, we have, I'm going to try to finish at 12:30. All right, let me try to get it. Heroes of the faith, okay? So, who are the heroes of the faith? And if you turn a little bit back, chapter 11, we see a lot of heroes, because a lot of them are like you, okay? A lot of us question, what is faith, okay? And faith is 11:1. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for the conviction of things not seen. Okay, so that is faith. What is faith today like? Is it that we need to see physically so that we can believe? Or is faith that you can say, yeah, I didn't see, but I know it's there. I know God is going to take care of things. I know God is going to overcome my fear, my doubts, my pain. Okay? All right, so who else is in the Bible that we see in chapter 11? We look at some heroes of the faith. Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, through which he was commended as righteous. God commending him by accepting his gifts through his faith. Though he died, he still speaks. So Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death, and he was not found, because God had taken him. Going drop down is talking about faith, and without faith, it is impossible to please him. For whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists. Do we believe that? Do we believe God exists? Do we believe Jesus is around us? You know, do we put Christ in the front or first? And that he rewards those who seek him. And go on to Noah and to Abraham. Okay? They obeyed. So Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. You imagine that. Uprooting his whole family to go in a place, I don't know what's out there, but I'm willing to go. Okay? And he went out knowing that where he was going, but by faith, he went to live in the land of promise as in the foreign land, living in a tent with Isaac and Jacob, heirs with him of the same promise. Okay? So, oops. Okay. Oh, I'm going too fast. Okay. So, by faith, the story, I like to kind of switch to the Old Testament, in where this is where Isaac, Jacob, and so we want to hear that story. I'd like for us to turn to Genesis 22. Oh, it's a little bit long, but here is a scenario wherein how does Isaac and his children play out this faith? All right, turn with me to Genesis 22, and I read this story, and then this is kind of like a storytelling time. After these things, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, here I am. He said, take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and his son Isaac. And he cut the wood and the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. So you just think about the process. Okay, God told him, yeah, this is what I want you to do. Okay? And he knows what he was supposed to do. He was to sacrifice Isaac, right? Just think about if that were you, if you are Abraham today, what's going on in your mind? You have the only son that he is the one that has to be sacrificed. Just imagine the intensity of that time. Okay? But in obedience, Abraham continued. On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. Then Abraham said to his young men, "Stay here with the donkey, and I and the boy will go over there and worship and come again to you." And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offerings. So now they got to leave the guys, the servants and all that behind. There's only two of them. Okay, then the wood and laid it on Isaac and his son, and he took his hand off the fire and the knife. So they went both of them together, and Isaac said to his father, "Abraham, my father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." He said, "Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb?" So this is a 14 to 18-year-old guy, young man. Okay, is he stupid? No. Did he struggle? No. But he believed in his father. And he took that. You know, here he is. He's being tied up. You know, and he's the one who carried all of this stuff. And he's the one who's going to be the one on the table, right? But yet, he didn't struggle. He didn't fight over this. What's going on, Dad? You know. But he is willing to do that. He is willing to obey. Then when they came to the place of which God had told him, Abraham built the altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife. Here it is, the scenario. You imagine that action just about to do. What would you say? Right? So, then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. But an angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am," he said. "Do not lay your hands on the boy or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Okay. So, and Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him was a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. So this story kind of shows, yeah, this is the race. Abraham was going race. His son was part of the race too. Both of them play out this faith, you know. So we see, can I just go back to that? Okay, where was it? There one, here. So, let's see. I got my cheat sheet here. So we look at what is faith. So both of them play out the faith, but it's a blind faith, right? So we see, what is faith? Faith is formed through intergenerational relationship. So you imagine if Isaac would just struggle and just flee and run away, you know, will the generation that God promised Abraham will continue? Okay? If he would just run away, we won't have this story anymore. Because the generation from Abraham, Isaac, okay, Jacob, Esau, and all the way down, they became the Jewish nation, right? So that was a promise God gave to Abraham, okay? But this faith is so powerful and obedience to God, and he's willing to go through it. So today, so generation. So you can see, let me explain that one, generation to generation. So when we do ministry, as this church has allowed generation already, this has existed, and it was intended. God has empowered the leaders of this church to continue to preach the gospel, to preach the word of God. so that this next generation, you are that generation, that it will continue. The Word of God will continue to go on. And then next is the second one is faith grows as we chose to trust God when we don't have all the details. So sometimes the detail's not there. God calls us something to do, want us to do, but sometimes it doesn't come with the detail, isn't it? Okay? God called Abraham, okay, you got to go sacrifice on that mountain. Bring your son. But the detail's not there, right? Sometimes our life is like that too, our life. You know, when we follow Christ, when we want to follow Christ, and he's asking us to do something, but we don't know. Where's the memo? Where's the detail? Where's the plan? Sometimes it doesn't work that way. And faith becomes our eyes when our physical eyesight falls short. Okay, so sometimes faith will let us see. Okay, will allow us to really say, hey, yeah, now I can see it. In the beginning, I don't see it, but once I continue, keep my faith in Him that calls me, and He's going to provide each one. Okay? All right. So, how does faith play out in this generation in mission? Okay? Lately, there is a Lausanne movement. I don't know if you have heard about that. The Lausanne movement is every 4 years, I think, that all the leaders in the world, there's 5,000 came to Korea this last few weeks ago. And the main theme that they're talking about is how do we finish this Great Commission? Okay? How do we finish it? And one of the stats that came out is it's not a good number. That's what I'm going to show you now. So, Lausanne's movement is to gather all the top leaders, all the leaders from all over the world, to discuss how do we move forward. And one of the things that researchers have discovered, so that if I would ask everyone here, and the question is, can anybody here tell me what is the Great Commission?
Go and make disciples of all nations?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Preach the gospel to everyone?
Yeah, okay, good, all right. All right, so, but that is on what? Reference to Matthew 28:19. Can we pull that out? Okay, Tony have just gave us a reference to that. But that is not all. The Great Commission is not, actually, some people just use this to reference the Great Commission. But the Great Commission is in this Hebrews 12. How do we finish it? How do we endure? Through faith, right? And what is that faith? And that faith is Jesus Christ. So Hebrews, the whole book of Hebrews, this theme is right based on Christ. He is the main character here that we are preaching, we are teaching, and we're sharing a testimony. That is the one. Okay? So, let's finish this. So you can see the stats. Oh, yeah, it kind of look small, huh? So they found the statistics shows that globally, people doesn't really understand the Great Commission. Less than 50% of the people understand what is the Great Commission. It's so sad that today our churches are not preparing our people to understand the Great Commission is all about. So we really need to look at that. Check this out, and then ask ourselves, okay, as a believer today, can I be a part of it? Can I, right now, am I ready to obey God? God calling us, okay, to stand, before. If you have a platform, like I did, my platform is sports. Okay, I'm using that platform to share the gospel. Okay, my race is, as much as I can with sports, I can lead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, 1,000 people. I'm willing to do that. Okay, going forward, how do we go forward from now, for today? How do you finish the race? You ask yourself. Okay, we have a race today. Okay, we're going to have a race today in the park. What's the name of the park, Bobby? Leela Brenners. Oh, yeah, that's a hard thing today. Park. It's about 1 kilometer here, 1 or 2, right? So it's so close. This is a chance for us to be a community, okay? We were there last night, and there are a lot of people. I think we have like 30 people came to our games. So you can see all these games. It's going to be set up in the park. And we're going to use these games to tell about who Jesus is. Okay? If there's a chance for you to make a friend, this is the best time. Now, if you have a friend that you know, you can invite it now. We talked about, last Friday, we talked about innovation. And one of the innovation is this, using this. All right? You can call someone now and say, hey, we got activity at 2 o'clock. Come over. Okay? All right? So you need to, we'll work all this together. We're not going to, and Bobby and the team have worked so hard to prepare this. So give you a chance to do that. Okay? So this is our race. We have a big opportunity to connect with the community, as well as you can invite others to come 2 o'clock, right? Okay? So I think I'm done.